Hello and welcome. You're watching Newsx. I'm Biresh Banerjee and this is America Decides, the exclusive Newsx-C Voter Opinion Poll on the US elections. Just about a week away, we tell you whom we think will perhaps make it to the White House this year. We have an August panel with us to discuss this entire opinion poll. Starting from my right, Kalyani Shankar, veteran journalist and a political analyst, joins us. Thank you so much for joining us. Pramit Pal Chaudhary, foreign editor of the Hindustan Times, is also with us. Professor Christopher Raj from JNU and Ajit Shahi, editor of C Voter. Also joining us from Washington, D.C., well-known psephologist Yashwant Deshmukh. Mr. Deshmukh, welcome to the program as well. We'll just go back to our panelists in a short while, but let's just tell you exactly how the US elections go. It's a bit complicated, so we'll try and go as slowly as possible, but you might think there is a lot of detail here. Now, beginning with the Electoral College, in fact, we'll come to that in some time. So, the US elections are conducted in a bit of a complicated manner, some would argue. The candidates for president and vice president run together on what's called a ticket. Voters choose a ticket wherein voters select a pair from the same party. Now, you can't select the president from one party and a vice president from another party. So if you're selecting a ticket, you're selecting the pair of them together. The US election is actually a series of about 51 separate elections conducted in 50 states and the one federal district of Washington, D.C. Now, in these 51 elections, people vote for electors who pledge to support one of the tickets. The number of electors is decided on the basis of the number of senators and representatives in each state. Now, while each state has 2 senators, the number of representatives is based on the population of that particular state. Whichever ticket receives the most votes in a state gets all the electors. Now, these electors in turn comprise the Electoral College, which votes for the ticket. Each elector gets 1 vote. The Electoral College votes, or the ECV in short, in the United States is 538 votes strong, and to win, a president must have more than 270 votes in the bag. So that is the magical number, 270 out of a total Electoral College vote of 538. Let's just bring up for you another graphic which sort of decodes this opinion poll for you. That's the figures we have for you at the moment. Let's just add here that this is only an opinion poll, and as is evident from these figures, it is a neck-and-neck race. It is down to the wire. What we have at the moment, the indications are that President Barack Obama will probably get 272 seats, while his Republican challenger Mitt Romney is expected to get 266 seats. Let's just draw your attention to one of the categories here in this particular graphic, leaning. Now, leaning referring to the states, the swing states or the key battleground states wherein votes could go either way for either party. Look at the interesting graphic here. 86 votes for Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney leading over there. Now, this is the swing projection, which is basically how the votes could swing in the Democratic strongholds, the Republican strongholds, and the toss-up states. Toss-up states again being the key battleground states, the swing states. Over here again, Mitt Romney doing far better than President Barack Obama, who is in the negative in most places. Now, let's just put this on the map for you. That's the Democratic stronghold. Is just a graphic representation of where it is that the Democratic Party is strong. Look at this, the West Coast and the Northeast Coast. The Northeast Coast, bear in mind, was just struck by Hurricane Sandy and campaigning work had to stop there. Now, the Republican strongholds for you, as is clearly evident, all those areas which were not covered by the Democrats, primarily the American Midwest, and many would say the rural belt being the primary constituency for the Republicans. And now the important bit, the swing states. These are the states, the key battlegrounds that can decide who enters the White House. One of the most important talked about states here is, of course, Ohio and Iowa, some of the other states as well on that list. A list of about 10 to 13 states. It keeps varying depending on which poll you're referring to, which decide which way the vote swings. Right, so that's the information we have for you, and the polls initially indicating that about 272 votes out of 538 will perhaps go in for Barack Obama. Mitt Romney getting 266. Over to our panelists now. If I can begin with you first, Ms. Shankar. You've been in the United States for quite some time, and you have covered a number of elections. Does this come as a bit of a surprise, the way it is running neck and neck, and maybe President Obama having a slight lead? Does this come as a bit of a surprise to you?
It's not a surprise at all. All these months, every poll in the US has been saying it's a neck and neck fight. So I don't find anything surprising. But I'm surprised that you're giving him 272 now. I mean, nobody.
We are not giving him 272. This is what the respondents have said, and I'll bring Ajit in a way.
Okay.
Perhaps you can clarify here.
I'm really surprised at that. But of course, Obama might get it. Let me complete it. Obama might get it because right now he is cancelled all his campaign trips. So he's concentrating on dealing with the hurricane. So he is really totally concentrating on that. Now his strategy, I hear, is to show how presidential he is, how he can deal with the crisis, how he can manage the calamity. So that's what he is depending on. And whereas Romney is on the other side, because all that he could do was to go to Ohio and distribute food supplies. So beyond that, he has no other role right now. So if this clicks, Obama's thing. Yeah, I agree with you on the 272. Otherwise, it's really neck and neck as far as I could see.
I mean, you're absolutely right. Just to make that clarification, the 272 is merely a projection. But fundamentally, what's important about the results that we have found here is that the margin of error is 3.5% to 4.5%. Therefore, this is completely a tied race. Nobody can call it. No one can call it. And we have been looking at these figures since 6th of October, when the first presidential debate was held in Denver, Colorado, and since then we have seen the race has essentially been completely tied. So 272 is merely a projection based on the figures right now, but of course we are not saying Obama is winning. Nobody knows that.
Possibly. Well, you see, one more thing I want to add is that our 272, our majority is 272. The American majority also seems to be 272 because
it's 270.
To become 270. Yeah,
270.
That's right now. We are talking about Obama
and 538.
Yeah, that's true.
Pramit, your take on it, because the graphic plate that we were just showing our viewers with 272 and 266, the leaning category being quite interesting there. Romney almost twice that of Barack Obama in the swing states.
Well, I haven't seen which specific states have you declared for. Have you put Florida, Ohio?
So Florida is definitely going to Romney here.
Romney.
In what
and Ohio?
But Ohio is also it's going to Barack Obama.